Excellent.
Great. Okay, Bob, would you call a roll, please?
We'll do so. Richard Callow,
Here.
Stan Fowler,
Present.
Catherine Hamaker,
Here.
David Richardson, David
Is muted.
Allen Richardson, David Marie Richardson. Mr. Richardson, can you hear us? You are muted, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome. Mike Colleen.
Now I can't.
Mike Colleen's here. Okay. Anthony
Yes,
Robinson,
can't.
not present. Brett and Ryan, not present. Here's Mr. Robinson right now. He's joining in. Mr. Robinson is now present, and I think we are ready to go.
Excellent. This meeting of the Preservation Board is called to order. A quorum has been established. Commissioners, welcome. Has anyone read the minutes from December 15th, 2025? And if so, do you have a motion?
I have it. I move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Are there any changes?
Mr. Fowler.
Thank you, Stan.
Any changes? Hearing none. Bob, a roll, please.
Will do.
It's good practice.
It really is. I'll be doing it a lot this evening, I have a feeling. Mike Colleen.
Present.
Is that a yes for the, is that a yes for the?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were taking roll. Yes.
David's coming back in here. Hold on, make sure you can hear us okay. For those joining us who are not part of staff and stuff like that, this is just how it goes when you're doing these online world of fun public hearings. So just bear with us if there are glitch or seven. Thank you. Okay, so Mike Colleen is a yes. Stan Fowler,
Yes.
Captain Hamaker,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
David Richardson. He's gone again. Okay, well, we don't need him for a quorum, so we'll just do that. And then Richard Callow.
Yes.
Excellent. We have all in favor. Looks like we're going to be ducking and dodging Mr. Richardson with some technical issues here.
Okay. Commissioners, look down the agenda. Does anybody need to recuse themselves for any of these items? Okay. Is everybody okay with the order of these items? Okay. This will be our agenda. We'll begin calling agenda item A, which is a preliminary review, 2900 McNair.
All right, so Bob Bettis with staff. I'll be telling the truth. This is actually a really cool project. You can all still see PowerPoint, right? And the lovely vacant lot currently
Correct.
at the corner of McNair and Pestalozzi.
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so
Present.
what we have is the prelim review and Benton Park to construct two buildings on the site. One will be a primary structure that faces on to McNair, and then a secondary building that will face on to Pestalozzi. So I'll go through the project here and show you where we're at. Sorry. And also forgive me, guys, I am multitasking, letting people in the waiting room and whatnot. I'm the only person at the building today, so. Okay, this is the site in question. It's been vacant since like the 1970s. Going on, here's some street level context for you. Obviously the site is here on the right. Historically, the site had a three-story building with a series of shops, and then at the back there was also a brick structure. This is the proposed site plan. As you can see, the building at Prince McNair will have a kind of a staggered setback like the rest of the block. At the rear, you have a two-story brick building with an attached garage port at the alley. And this is kind of a blown up site plan to get a sense of what's going on. It's a two-story L-shaped building that will address both McNair and Pestalozzi. And some more context for you. This shows each building and where they'll be located on the parcel. The model example for the McNair building is also in Benton Park. It's at 3324 Missouri. So this is the design that it's based on. This is the south and Pestalozzi side of the building. Very straightforward fenestration patterns, will be all brick. Simple two-story building. The screen and porch will be at the rear and will not be visible to the street. This is some context for you, street level context, streetscape rendering. I will note that the site has always been at grade. The rest of the block was built up when they did the residential properties. So it's going to always have a floor level issue. And I'll mention that quickly in the standards when I go through it. It's going to maintain that current flat parcel. To build it up would be unusual looking at that corner. So this kind of illustrates the streetscape, proposed streetscape. This is the Pestalozzi side. Kind of give you a sense of the two buildings that are going to be constructed, the alley, and then the cross street building of Wisconsin, to kind of give you a sense of scale. The site kind of slopes down as you go east to west. So there's a little bit of a step down as you go east to west along Pestalozzi. This is the alley building, alley house, and this is the model example over on Victor. It is in Soulard. So again, it's what the design is based on. Very straightforward, very simple alley building. Very common. You would see that in the rears of properties. Simple design like this is appropriate. The alley side is on the right. Again, all brick. Fits great. It's very compatible with the streetscape. So that being said, staff feels that the designs mostly comply with the standards. What I noted before about the floor heights aligning kind of runs afoul of the scale portion of the code, which says that you should align the floor heights. It's not going to align. However, I think that it's appropriate for the site. Given that one deviation, we feel that it's appropriate. We do recommend the board grant approval. They do have support from Benton Park. That letter was provided to you. The applicants have been great to work with. Everything we've asked for, they've done. In terms of, doing brick, the size of exposed foundations, they've been wonderful to work with. Everything we've asked for, they've done. They work well with Benton Park, and they were able to garner their support as well. So any questions for me?
Yeah, a couple, Bob. Our standards say something about tinted windows and how they're discouraged, but it seems like a lot of the houses are sneaking them in. Are you going to keep tinted windows off of this building?
The applicants said they would do clear windows.
Great.
So
And then I don't know if I saw the rear facade. Are they going brick back there too, or are they going siding?
it'll be siding on that back part that faces the other new building.
Okay. And it looks like you mentioned this floor height issue. It looks like as you cross Pestalozzi, it might actually line up with the commercial building across the street.
It does. All those corner properties are all at grade. So in a sense, it will align with the kind of the other three occupied corners on that piece of property.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bob, I have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
A little bit out of my depth, but on your slide 15 there, where you showed the historic, I don't know the term, but at the top of the roof, are we worried about that?
Cornice.
The cornice, yeah, the cornice. Are we worried about that matching, or is there any guidance? I know this is preliminary, or just asking.
So it doesn't have to match verbatim to meet the standards. The model example requirement is a based on design. It does have to replicate it. Again, if they were to add more depth to that parapet and add that cornice in, great, but it's not required per se. Again, it's more of a based on way of doing the model example requirements.
Understood. And then there's the section where you can see like the carport in the back that sticks out a little bit further than
Right here, you can see a little bit will stick out.
yeah, so are we worried about that? What's the finish on that side? Is it siding, or do we know?
It would be
I know
siding.
it's a little bit.
It would be siding, yes, and which would be okay on that side as long as it's finished.
Cool. That's all I think I had. Oh, and then one last, is the applicant going to talk at all on this one, or do we need them?
If you'd like them to be here, the designer and the owner, they're both here. If you want to hear them speak, if you have any questions for them, they're here. But
No.
yeah,
I just wanted to say thanks for being creative with this site. I mean, it has been vacant. This is a great use, I think, in my idea or in my mind. I just want to make sure they know that I would want them to put the sidewalk in there in front of the property on Pestalozzi, and just give them kudos for going after this. This is awesome. And make sure, whoever's using it has the parking that they need. I see 2 garage spaces and maybe a pad out there. So, good job, guys. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bob,
much.
Bob, is there anybody in the waiting room who wants to speak against this project?
there is not. And I no, there is not.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant? If not, I'll call for a motion. Okay, now I call for a motion.
I can move, this is Commissioner Homaker. I can move that the Preservation Board grant preliminary approval to the proposed project as it generally complies with the Benton Park standards for new construction, with the condition that final plans, colors, and materials are approved by the Cultural Resources Office.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who
David,
seconded?
David,
Any discussion? Hearing none. Bob, call a roll, please.
Captain Hamaker,
Yes.
David Richardson,
Yes.
Mike Colleen,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Richard Callow,
Yes.
Stan Fowler.
Yes.
And my phone is ringing because we are open. Hold on 1 second. Well, I'm just getting open.
Where'd he go?
I'm here. Somebody, can you hear me okay? I just turned the ringer off. Who needs customer service today? Okay. All right. Well, ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Would you give your speech about the waiting room and comments, please?
I would love to. If you are in the room and you want to speak on a certain item, please put your name in the chat and the address you want to speak on. And then once that item is heard, we can call on you to address the item. So again, all I need is just your name and the address you want to speak on. Okay?
Great. Thank you very much. Commissioners, we're moving into the appeals section of this meeting. We'll proceed slightly differently, asking staff and witnesses to affirm or swear that they're going to tell the truth, and for appellants and staff to introduce any documents they want included in the record. Is that clear? Good. Agenda item B, 3156 Geyer.
Okay, Bob Bettis with staff, and I will tell the truth. I need to enter into the record ordinances 64689 as amended by 64925. That's our enabling ordinance. I need to enter in ordinance 57702. That is the Compton Hill ordinance. And I need to enter in my PowerPoint, my presentation, my staff report. Anything else, Richard? Soul, good intentions. Okay, ready to rock and roll? Okay, so 3156 Geyer, it's in the Compton Hill Historic District. Some quick background. We received a complaint regarding the wrapping of the wooden elements at this property back in November. We reached out to the homeowner, who has been great to work with in terms of being responsive and giving a good back and forth about why they did what they did, and they've been good to work with. In terms of how we deal with folks with complaints, they have been wonderful to work with in that regard. They understand our point, and we took through the process. So essentially what happened is this. The wooden elements you see here, the brick molds, the mullions on the windows, the half timbering in the gable, the fascia and the rake of the gable, I'm sorry, excuse me, of the gable, they were all rewrapped without a permit. They were rewrapped previously, and they were rewrapped. So in general, when you have a non-compliant feature like a wrapped wooden element, it can stay. But once you modify that feature, it's always been staff's point that is then open to code interpretation, and you need to get permits for it and comply with the ordinance. So that's just brief background. So here is the location of the property. Along Compton at Geyer, just south of the interstate. I'm going to give you some current and some previous shots to give you context about the work that took place at the property. So you see on this elevation, on this facade, it's just the wrapping around the windows, the mullions and the brick molds. Mullions, sorry. On the cross street side, it is all of the half timbering, the fascia on the rake, and then the mullions and the brick molds on all the windows on this side. Thanks to the wonders of Google Street View, there was a shot of the wrapping being removed back on the gable portion. So you can see kind of a slight little kind of an OG-ish profile along that, which was concealed by the wrapping. And the half timbering was wrapped at that time as well by some red aluminum. So these are kind of before and after shots of that. Up here, the left is the current, right is previous. And again, you can see before and afters of the mullions and the brick molds on the windows. So going through the ordinance, as I said before, it's when it comes to what we consider maintenance, we don't consider removal and replacement of that to be maintenance. That is actual work that requires review. Going through the standards, it talks about you should not obscure detailing the street visible. This is all obviously street visible. Under removals and demolition, although it's not being removed, this is in a sense covering up historic detailing. Under exterior materials, talks about anything new should be compatible in type, texture, and color. We believe that aluminum is not appropriate and does not meet that standard. There's a section about siding can be aluminum. I think if you apply that to like the half timbering, we don't consider that siding. This is just the covering up of detailing. So I don't think the siding component would really cover any of this as well. Under detail, it says they should be maintaining the same style and detail and material. Again, wrapping is not appropriate. It talks about storm windows and frames can be wood or aluminum. The wrapping of these details, though, does not fall underneath that category, we believe. And then again, it talks about, there's actual language about what is maintenance. And we believe that, again, this is not under that level of what you call maintenance. So that being said, staff recommends that the board uphold the director's denial of the permit. I do not have official word from the neighborhood, although I have been in correspondence with them. Essentially, they believe that the applicants were working under the assumption that they were just doing maintenance. They feel that the level of the work here would not really fall under like a slippery slope kind of an argument where if somebody had vinyl windows and they want to go back with vinyl, that this is kind of an apples and oranges thing. That's the worry when you just swap out non-compliant features. They feel that this level of work doesn't really meet that threshold. The owner has met with the neighborhood and had discussion with them, so they feel that he was working under his own good intentions, was not meant to do anything to go against the standards. So although not official, they feel like the work he did is okay based on what his intentions were. So any questions for me?
Commissioners, questions of staff? Okay,
So
let's hear from the appellant. Oops, sorry.
Really
I'm
quick.
sorry, Richard.
Go ahead.
So Bob, you said the neighborhood association was okay with the level.
Yeah, they believe that the work took place without permits. So and Mr. Fall is here, he can probably expound on this. They did
Okay.
hire somebody to do the work. They did not get permits. So he was under the impression that the work taking place was appropriate because they didn't get the right kind of permits. I should note, and it was noted in the staff report, they also replaced the roof. The roof part of this was compliant, but the people they hired did not get permits to do this work. So they
Got
feel that, again, it was a good intention situation, and that the level of the work is not, again, as high profile as doing a window swap out or,
Good.
yeah, that thing, sorry.
Got it. Thanks, Bob.
Sorry, I'm just talking way too much today.
Any more questions for staff? Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Okay, Mr. Fall is here. I have a few slides from him.
Yes, thank you very much. I thank you for your time today, and just wanted to point out a few things. Two in particular, and one is just kind of a.
Before you get too wound up, is your testimony going to be the truth?
Oh, I apologize. Yes, my testimony
No,
will be
that's
the
fine.
truth. So help me God.
Perfect, thank you. And anything that you want built into the record, just say, this is for the record.
Okay, thank you. So for the record, I'd like to present not only the what Mr. Bettis has already done, but I submitted two pictures. One was closer to the 3:30 hour, and one is this picture here, as well as I will make reference to other historic standards in the city outside of our own, but just for preservation issues, not that I care to delve into here today too terribly much. So what happened is our house was damaged back in the storms back in May, and as a lot of homes were, not only the roof, but also, as you can see in the picture before you here, portions of this dark red cladding started coming off. When we bought the house in 2022, all the things that you see here that is in red cladding was aluminum. It was there as we came to the house. By the best of our research, the owner before us, all of that was aluminum. Because it was damaged, we hired a roofer who we'd worked with in the past in the city and recommended folks to before. They came out and said that aluminum would have to be replaced. Us knowing we were in a historic district said, well, it has to be replaced with the same. We want to make sure everything is like with like. And so while some portions of this red are aluminum, as you can see, if you could go back to the prior picture, Mr. Bettis, if you could focus in like around the 3 windows and underneath the overhang in the back, you'll see some of that red that still appears. That's because that was wood. And we said, no, if it's wood, leave it, we'll paint it. But if it's aluminum that has to be replaced, go ahead and do that, because it had been parts of it ripped off, parts of it turned up, parts of it dented from the storm. We were going to do it in the same color, and we're told by the roofing contractor that that color didn't exist or was hard to get. And if they were to get it because of weathering, it might not match exactly. So my wife and I walked through the neighborhood to make sure we found a color that matched, with the area. Pick the color that you see there in front of you now, and said to go ahead and do it. When we got the complaint, I called in December. I called our roofing contractor saying, hey, what happened? Why is there not a permit? And we were told, oh, well, it's a roofing job, so we don't need a permit. And I said, well, we're in a historic area now. We weren't when we used to be before. We were in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood. They said, oh, all right, our mistake. That's a problem. To expedite the matter, I actually walked down and made the application for the permit myself. Because all along our goal was to maintain the house in the manner in which we came to it. And so whether there's damage to that aluminum siding, we said, well, we want to maintain it in that same fashion, replace like with like. Again, where the color was wood, if you could go back a couple of, for instance, where I showed you here, or if you could go back to the picture of the front of the house, Mr. Bettis, please. You'll see above the entranceway, there's kind of like a decorative piece that remains red. That's because that was wood, and our intent is to paint it to match what we put there. Our intent was always to keep like with like, and go forward from there. As Mr. Bettis said, we eventually went down and applied for it. I've been in contact with the neighborhood association who sent me an email and I forwarded the same to Mr. Bettis that reflects as he said. The recommendation was to go before you all, say exactly what you told me, as opposed in terms of maintaining what was already on the house. See what they say, that I only replaced like with like to maintain the overall look with a house that in the manner that we came to it with. And also they said to recommend showcasing the home in the photos, which you have, and highlighted the fact that we're trying to keep it in good order. My wife and I believe in the historic standards and want to maintain it. We acted in good faith here to maintain the vision of the house as we came to it. So that's what I'd like to maintain. I do think we have lived up to the code as it exists for our area, which is a little bit different than in areas like the Central West End or Soulard, where they specifically say, hey, if you're going to do something, you have to go back to the original. Ours doesn't explicitly say that and just says maintain it, which was what our intent was to do. Unfortunately, the contractor did not get the permit, which, like I said, when we found out, I went down personally to get that done. So because of those issues, as well as, from the unofficial, but I swear that's what the email says from the neighborhood association, that they don't seem to have a problem with it overall, and take us at our intention to have tried to do the right thing here, that you let the work that's been done stand. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, do you have questions of the appellant? Okay, thank you very much. Bob, is there anybody in the waiting room?
Not to speak on this item now.
Okay. Then, commissioners, may I have a motion, please?
This is Richardson. I move that we overturn the director's denial and allow the aluminum wrapping, and grant a variance to the extent necessary.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I agree with the applicant. Reading these standards, this is one that definitely could benefit from a rewrite, Bob, that I know we're doing. But the section about architectural detail, I can see how someone would read it, and I can read it defensively, that he was just maintaining what was there, and it said maintain. It didn't say maintain as originally constructed. And actually another section, I'm looking at section G, that was quoted in Bob's packet. G4 uses the word originally constructed. So you're supposed to maintain in a similar profile, size, and detail as originally constructed. G1 is similar size, detail, and material, and it's just maintained. It doesn't say as originally constructed. So, this is one where I think the city could be better in our drafting. And I don't think, this wasn't intentional. And so I would like to overturn the director's denial.
I would only add by way of comment that this probably would have been avoided had he or his contractor applied for a permit.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to say otherwise on that, but I
Okay.
thank you for the motion all the same.
Okay, hearing no other discussion, Bob, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. David Richardson,
Yes.
Mike Colleen,
Yes.
Stan Fowler,
Yes.
Kevin Homaker,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Richard Callu.
Yes.
Ayes have it. It's all of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, commissioners. Let's do agenda item C.
All right. And Chris, just say when and I will advance for it.
Okay. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, and I affirm that I will tell the truth. So first up is 1232 Dolman Street, and I have several different things I need to enter into the record. First, of course, the PowerPoint, also the staff report, Lafayette Square Historic District Ordinance 70926. I also have a letter from the Lafayette Square Neighborhood Association Preservation Committee. And I also have approximately, I believe at this point, 14 letters from neighbors in support of the appellant. So I will start then with, this is basically a retaining wall that was built without a permit, and there was an anonymous complaint. And upon inspection, the Cultural Resources Office issued a citation for work without a permit. So here is a photograph of the front of the house. It's a duplex, so it's the one on the left right there. And you can see the retaining wall right there. We'll have a better picture of it in just a second. Bob, if you could go to the next slide, please. So you can see it's there on Dolman. On the left is Ariel. On the right there, it's on a street that there's a large amount of new construction. So that's Ariel. Next, please, Bob. And here's the context, looking at the east side of Dolman. Like I said, lots of new construction. There's a parking lot over there to the south. Next, please, Bob. Slide. And here's looking at the east side, or the west side, excuse me, of Dolman Street. Next, please. This is looking north, again, seeing lots of the new construction, looking north. Next, please. And this is looking south down Dolman towards Park Avenue. And then next, please. And then this is a current and previous view of the foundation. On the right is an image of what it looked like before. It's a poured concrete foundation. Of course, like I said, it's new construction. And then on the left is a current view of what the retaining wall looks like, and basically current conditions. So just kind of going to relevant legislation. Like I said, it was ordinance number 70926. First of all, a few definitions. First one is historic model example. Basically, this is, is this based off of anything? And it does not comply. The retaining wall is not based on a historic model example. Next, public yard. The public yard is basically in between the front primary facade and the sidewalk, and the retaining wall is placed in between the sidewalk and the front facade of the house. Next definition, retaining wall, or a wall constructed to allow a change in grade. And in our opinion, the retaining wall meets the definition according to the standards because soil has been added behind the new wall to incorporate planting. Visible, the retaining wall is visible from the street and along the sidewalk in Dolman, obviously. Then Article 3, new construction, additions to historic buildings. Retaining walls are prohibited from altering the grade of the site where it's visible from the street. Does not comply. The wall raises the height of the front yard from its original elevation. So in conclusion, this is 402.2. The wall is not based on a historic model example. Front wall is vertical, but has the qualities of true stone. The top wall is horizontal, but extends approximately 1.5 feet above grade. So it does not comply. The wall is faced with concrete blocks, a material not allowed under standards and not based on a historic model example. So preliminary findings and conclusions. 1232 Dolman is located in the Lafayette Square Local Historic District. The installed concrete block retaining wall is visible from the street and sidewalk. The concrete retaining does not require model example. Concrete block is not an approved material under the historic district standards. The wall is not based on a historic model example. The Lafayette Square Association Preservation Committee has submitted a letter in support of the homeowner's appeal. Based on the preliminary findings, the Cultural Resources Office recommends that the Preservation Board uphold the denial of the application to retain the retaining wall. Are there any questions?
Yes, I've got one. Have you got a picture of the other side of the duplex?
Yeah, we actually would. It's up there. and you can kind of, well, actually, yeah, you can kind
Yeah.
of see it. They still have kind of what I would describe it as what it used to look like on 1232 side, just some, plants. I imagine what happened is that the developer, when they built this duplex, they planted just a few shrubs.
So
And, oh, God,
the retaining wall does not twin, is just on one half.
it currently does not have a twin, correct?
Okay.
And the homeowners are here, and they have a presentation as well.
Right. We'll listen to them when we finish questions with you.
Okay, I just want to make sure you knew.
Commissioners, further questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Sarah, are you there?
They're muted.
Okay. Sarah, you just need to unmute yourself.
So we're having all sorts of technical difficulties. I need you to hold that right there. About 5 minutes ago, Lafayette Square just lost power. So all internet, I'm on a hotspot. I don't know if you can hear us clearly. It keeps dying. And so please, I can't even see myself if you can see us.
We
See,
can
can
we can
verify.
see you.
The
Okay.
story as a Lafayette Square resident. I can verify that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm holding the iPhone so we can attach to the hotspot. So we may look a little wonky.
Yeah, this was a little unnerving. This whole process was unnerving, and this was icing on the cake. So, good afternoon. I can't see you guys, so I'm going to just say hi. Thanks for considering our request for the variance. I'm just going to kind of go
Before you
through.
get going too much, will you affirm or swear that the testimony you're going to give is the truth?
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
And when there is something that you want entered onto the official record, say, please put this on the record.
Okay, you can put the whole thing on the record. I don't care.
Please.
Please?
Please.
Okay, sure. Put it on the record. I don't know what the record means,
Okay.
so just do it.
Olivia, is that fine?
Yes, Sarah, I believe what we're looking for is if you have particular materials, pictures, anything of that nature, you want the
Yeah.
board to
So
consider.
I want the whole
Please state that.
presentation. I want the whole presentation, please put in the record. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Okay. So this is Daniel. I'm Sarah. We live at 1232 Dolman. We lived here for over 10 years. We lived at a different place in Lafayette Square. Prior to that, we've been here for nearly 15 years, and then Soulard before then. We really believe in 63104. While we're doing this, we're getting lots of alerts and notifications, and it's going to be a little distracting for me.
No apologies.
I'm sorry, things are not normally this chaotic. So we got a landscape bed. We finally had the money. We waited until we could really do it, and then we really put our heart into designing it because we like doing that kind of stuff. But it turns out that we did it incorrectly, or so we thought, or so we learned. So our project, could you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Our home is new construction. We built it. And when we moved in, there was the exposed raw concrete foundation. And it's always bugged me. It's driven me crazy just seeing that thing, but we just couldn't afford yet all the landscaping. We wanted to improve our property's appearance and the streetscape. We installed a landscape bed, 18-inch, with plantings. We used highest quality materials, and we tried to do something that was stone appearing. You'll see that in a second. That it matches the foundations. We were really trying to match all the foundations, and we'll show you this in a second, all the foundations of the builds on the block, which are all new builds on this side. Due to an anonymous complaint, the Cultural Resources Office determined that this violates Code 402.2 of using concrete for retaining walls. Even though our feature is small and it serves as a decorative landscape, it still said that we bought, and it actually serves no structural function.
It doesn't change the grade. We
Right.
never thought of it as a retaining wall at all.
No. If you could go to the next slide. so the code 402, the 402.2 restricts concrete. However, we believe that the 18-inch landscape bed, which is planted and does not change the grade or function structurally, represents a different category than a retaining wall that the code was designed to regulate. In many places, including jurisdictions that follow the International Residential Code, IRC, retaining walls up to 4 feet often don't require permits, which is where we originally got our understanding that we didn't need a permit for a landscape bed. We now understand that the St. Louis City uses a more strict or more conservative threshold, but theirs is still the 18 inches. So we're still working within that frame. If you could go to the next slide, please. That's what it looks like.
The raw poured.
The raw poured concrete.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, we were trying to hide it. If you could go to in fact, the Lafayette Square, this is actually a really big point. The Lafayette Square urban plan explicitly encourages landscaping elements to screen undesirable features and enhance neighborhood appearance, which was what we were trying to do. We were just trying to make it so it was prettier. And if you go to the next thing, the next one, that's the before and after. And we do believe that we accomplished that, of making it look better, enhancing our neighborhood, enhancing our property. If you look at the before and after, we don't think it's a question that our raised bed is an improvement aesthetically and the value of the neighborhood. If you could go to the next one. Our goal was to match the aesthetic of the neighborhood, especially the foundation of the homes. We put a lot of care and attention into what we were doing. This was not something that we just threw up. We took a ton of work and tried to do everything right. We always try to do everything right. And we were just trying to match exactly what we could, the foundations and the look of, these are all and there's more of them. They all look like this. We just provided the 4 of them. Those are all 4 separate homes on Dolman right next to us, all on the block that represent our effort in matching the aesthetic.
The entire east side of the block are all new construction.
Yeah, and the 5th one is ours. That's what ours is, and that's what we were trying to match. Every single home on our street is new construction, and so we were just trying to make it look in line and match. Okay. Could you go to the next one? Of course, now we have somebody knocking at the door. So our intent was, if you go to that thing, was to use high quality materials. And even if you see from the manufacturer, they said it's smooth faces, both bold beveled, to echo timeless stonework. That was our goal. In preparing for, if you could go to the next one. In preparing for this hearing, we photographed numerous existing landscape walls and borders throughout Lafayette Square that are made of concrete or have similar appearance and function to ours. These historical model examples show that concrete materials have been used in our neighborhood for decades as part of low landscape features. This precedent is important. It suggests that our project is not an anomaly, but rather consistent with how residents in Lafayette Square have historically approached similar aesthetic challenges.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Everybody's power is
So
gone. That was our neighbor.
That's one historical model example, and we're going to now show you others. If you could go to the next one, please. Thank you. These are more examples. This demonstrates that concrete materials have been established in our neighborhood. You can see, we had the first one and the second one and the third one. And then if we go to the next one, next slide, we've got even more examples of concrete, and much of them are taller and function actually as structural retaining walls, not just landscape beds.
Some of them are just molded concrete that you would buy at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah, and not even trying to look like stone or whatever. So we've got all of those examples up there of the historical, and then we've got, if you go to the next one, we've got even more that do the same thing. I mean, there are just lots and lots and lots of historical model examples.
Which is why it didn't occur to us that there was anything that we
That
were
was an
doing that was
issue.
inappropriate. Yeah.
It's actually, yeah. Anyway, so, and then if you go to the next one, the next one is like lumber that people even used. So if you could go to neighborhood support, we got the Lafayette Square Neighborhood Association, their preservation committee reviewed our documentation and voted in favor of granting us the variance. They wrote a supportive letter specifically noting that our project is compatible with the neighborhood and aligns with urban plan guidelines. So they said that the materials selected were intended to match some of the existing new construction foundations on the block. The existing foundation wall at 1232 is currently a raw poured concrete foundation, making this design an overall improvement. They also note that their own guidelines for retaining wall permitting is inconsistent, which they plan to address. Because here's some more and a little bit, because they believe we are trying to abide by the rules, guidelines, and aesthetic of our neighborhood, they were very supportive and are requesting that you allow the variance for our landscaping.
And they're going to look into changing some of those
Understand.
guidelines so that they make them more obvious to others like ourselves.
And then we asked our neighbors on the block, we just a couple days ago told them about what was going on, and they enthusiastically wrote letters to support us. We had 14 letters sent to you guys, and those are all the people, that's including the people across from us, the people on the side of us. Even Sharon and Dick Stockman, who are what they call Lafayette Square pioneers, who were in part of the historical
Been here since the
code.
beginning.
Yeah, everybody was enthusiastically and supportive and really appreciative and loved our landscaping. So I'm going to just really quickly, Chris has copies of the letters. Hopefully he got most of those to you. They were unequivocally supportive. So like Tiffany Murphy said, we read through the slide. She read through the slide deck and the letter from the preservation board, the Lafayette Square one, and we are happy to sign it. On a personal note, we love looking at the space. Gina says, I second Tiffany's. We love it. We will be sending a letter in support. Michael Quinn at 1219, they all support it. Asmira, full support. Agreed that your landscaping is beautiful and we comment lovingly on it every time. One even kind of said, I nominate you for the best landscaping award. This new landscaping area this is a quote from one of the letters. This new landscaping area has brightened up our block and inspired more home improvements for fellow residents. And then Dick and Sharon made a point to even say that they're very sorry that this is happening and that the historical code was never meant to be used this way from Lafayette Square, which, meant a lot because they were part of creating it.
Pioneers. Yeah.
The pioneers. So if you could go to the next one. We are very committed to Lafayette Square. This was just to show that we've been here a long time. Our kiddo went for 6 years to Lafayette Preparatory Academy, where we're not just coming in and trying to do whatever we want to do. We believe in
We really do.
Lafayette Square. We believe in this. This is our home, and this is where we've chosen to raise our child. Our intent was pure. We were in good faith, trying to do the right thing. And so our request, if you could go to the last slide, and this is it, and then we'll leave you guys. We respectfully ask that you grant a variance of our specific project at 1232. It improves the home and our streetscape while maintaining compatibility with the neighborhood's character. So thank you very much for considering it.
Thank you.
Commissioners, questions for the appellant? I have a question for you all.
Yeah.
In the event that we approve this or not approve this, would you be willing to tell all those 14 or 400 people to get permits before they do work?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
We've already said that.
Actually,
Yeah.
Travis Gokin, who lives on our block, he's the one who is the head of the Lafayette Square Preservation Committee right now. He goes around and if he sees somebody doing landscaping, he will immediately tell them. And he's like, I'm so sorry, Sarah. Like, I didn't see it in time. I was gone that weekend, or else I would have stopped you guys. Like, we have people who are policing it already. He didn't
And-
see it and nobody thought it was a problem. And we just truly had no idea.
Yeah.
We thought we were allowed to put that kind of thing up.
Well, now you can be the new police.
Yeah.
We will stop people immediately, regardless of whether we think it's in violation. Just get it checked out with the
Yeah.
board at least. Yeah.
Bob, have we got anybody in the waiting room?
No, we do not.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, could we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to overturn the director's denial of the retaining wall not complying with Lafayette Square Local Historic District standards based on the fact that the appellant has shown us extensive documentation of similar examples in the neighborhood, as well as the support of the neighborhood organization.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes. I have a couple, this is Fowler. Just a couple thoughts. Like, I think this is, I mean, I think it's a slippery slope. These retaining walls, even the examples that we saw, some of those could actually be retaining walls helping with grade. I think this goes back to Callow, what you just said on the last one. It's like file the permit, or ask someone. There's codes. It says 8 inches in there. It's a hard line. It's if you come in with a permit and ask first, it's easy to go through this and workshop the materials that are used to maybe match. I know they went for matching adjacent homes, but maybe a natural stone that adds to the character or uphold those standards. And then we can also talk to the neighborhood association and get their feedback before, we're behind here on this one. So that's kind of my comments. I think I get what they're doing. It just, it doesn't align with the neighborhood association's own rules. So I would also implore them to update the rules so that we don't get these. And it's a non-issue. So that's my only comments.
Further comments, discussion, commissioners?
This is Commissioner Rich.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was just gonna say this, Commissioner Richardson. I'm okay with the motion, but I don't like the addition of what it's based on. I don't like the language or the comment that it's based on showing other walls in the neighborhood, because some of those could have been grandfathered in, and again, we don't know if those were. I mean, those may be in violation too, right? And maybe busted here in the future. So I think we just because someone has one. And we don't know why they have it, whether they got a permit, whether we gave them a variance already, whether it's grandfathered in. I would ask that be removed from the motion. Otherwise,
I can restate it.
Thank you.
But Ruth, before you do that,
yes.
So I am in agreement with Commissioner Richardson. I would also say that this is not, in fact, a retaining wall. It is a planter. It is not retaining anything. There's actually a plant bed that was done. You can clearly see that that grade has not changed whatsoever. So this isn't a retaining wall. Quite honestly, I don't think, based on I understand what the historic requirements state, but given that we don't have any change in grade at all, I don't think it's a retaining wall. And I guess I would have an issue with calling it a retaining wall and then approving it as a variance because of that. I would say this is not a retaining wall, and that's why we are approving it.
Then I will add that
let's hold on one second.
The rest of the commission
Ruth,
is okay with that, but
Ruth, hold
I'm
on just
using
one
the
second.
language that we have in front of us.
Ruth, can you hear me?
I have a
Hold on
question.
one second. Let's get all the comments out and before we figure out if there's going to be another motion. Catherine?
Yeah,
Tony?
I'm just
One of you.
scanning the Lafayette Square code quickly, and I'm not 100% sure, but I have a question for staff, I guess. Can you clarify, was the foundation allowed to be built in the way it was originally built, or should it have been scored to look like it was made with stone blocks? Because I noticed that theirs was the only one in
The
the
only one.
examples they showed that
Right.
looked like that. So part of their argument was like, we're covering up something that looks bad. But I'm just wondering if that looks bad part was not supposed to be there to begin with.
I can speak on that quickly. Sorry. It was built under, I think, a previous set of code where they did allow for raw foundations to be constructed. So it was built appropriately at the time.
Got it. Thank you.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yeah, so I think I thought that part of the testimony was compelling as well, because I as Commissioner Hummaker noted, it's the only one on the block that does not have the foundation that with inserts so that it looks like it's stone. I think given the fact that no grading has been changed, they are doing two things. One, there's an improvement with the stone look hiding the existing poured concrete foundation. Second is it's a planter. It's not a retaining wall.
I think the motion would be most effective if we said something about building this, whatever we want to call it, to cover up what is now a non-compliant foundation. Because I think that would prevent the slippery slope of people building retaining walls or planters, if they want to call them that, in front of foundations.
So I think that my issue with that, Catherine, would be that Bob just testified that it was compliant when it was built. So adding that statement to our motion would be incorrect. It's false. Bob just testified that it was in compliance when it was built.
Right. I'm just picturing like if this applicant had come to the preservation board prior to building it to apply for a permit, and they had said, like, we built our house under the previous standards, which allowed for this poured concrete. We think it looks kind of bad. That's probably why they changed the standards. Now everybody has this other kind, insert neighbors' houses. We want to make ours look better by making it more similar to theirs. That would have been a compelling argument to give them a permit. Now they didn't do that, so we don't know if that's what would have happened. But
Right.
to me, that feels like a more substantial reason to give them a variance or to allow them to do something that doesn't then open the door for like lots of other circumstances. That's my thought.
Ruth, is it your intention to withdraw your motion?
I'm going to withdraw it because I don't
Let's-
necessarily
let's
agree
make sure
with
that-
some
let's
of
make-
the things people want to add. So I'll let someone else make the motion.
Does the second agree to withdraw the motion?
That was Mr. Colleen.
Yes.
Okay.
Clarification, Commissioner Robinson, I have to disagree with you. By definition, this is a retaining wall. There is a grade change. There's a picture that shows there's at least like 16, 18 inches of fill behind the wall. I know it doesn't retain like anything for the foundation, but it is a retaining wall. I don't want a slippery slope away from this being a retaining wall.
Okay, we need
All
a
right.
motion on the floor to continue discussion. Not hearing one. What hearing one?
I will.
If you do not make a motion, I'm going to read the staff recommendation and make that a motion.
Nope. I move that
Okay.
we overturn the staff denial and allow this new plant bed retainer because it is it is in keeping with the newer constructed foundation walls and replicates them in a way that the poured concrete foundation wall that's current does not.
Okay, if, in the unlikely event this gets a second, I'm going to make Olivia reread it. Okay, I hear no second. Tony, you want to try again? Somebody else want to make a motion?
I'll let someone else make that motion.
Okay, I can try.
Okay.
I move that the Preservation Board overturn the director's denial and grant a variance for this specific project due to the presence of now non-compliant poured concrete foundation.
I will second that one.
Yep. Is there any discussion? Okay, Bob, call a roll.
Heppenhamaker,
Yes.
David Richardson,
Yes.
Stan Fowler,
No.
Mike Colleen,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Richard Callow.
No.
I still have it. Motion passes.
Yep. Are we unmuted? Thank you.
Thank you.
Go take care of your power, guys. Have a good evening. Okay.
All right. Can people still hear
Commissioners,
me?
do you want to take a break? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Bob, 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Callow. I think it's been 2 minutes.
Hey, Commissioner Kalina, you back?
He said he would go shovel his car up really quick, he said, but I don't think that's going to happen in time.
Well, we don't have Commissioner Hamaker anymore, so we'll need Mike to come back for a quorum, I believe.
How did she not help? I guess she was on her phone as well. That's crazy. They all lost power.
Commissioner Richardson lives in Lafayette Square, did not lose power.
Interesting.
We still have a quorum, right?
We do. They're just all still away. There's Mr. Robinson. I like to just,
Okay.
there's Mr. Richardson. We have seemed to have lost Catherine.
Yeah, she's gone.
Oh, she's gone for good?
Yes.
Oh.
Bob, call a roll real fast, please.
Stan Fowler,
Present.
David Richardson,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Here.
Michael Colleen, Richard Callow.
Present.
We do have
I
a
know them.
quorum.
Okay, let's call agenda item D.
All right. My name is Chris Nasser, and I affirm that I will tell the truth. So this is item D. It's for 308 North Newstead. Appeal of a director's denial to replace existing front stoop, terrace steps with a larger stoop, and terrace steps cheek walls. So I have several different things that I need to enter into the record. First thing is Central West End Certified Historic District Ordinance number 69423, the staff report, this PowerPoint, as well as 2 letters of support from the neighbors on the north and south of the house in question. And I also have a letter from Alderman Michael Browning, which is a letter of support for the project. So that's that. So the applicant came in, applied for a permit to replace his front steps, and it was denied due to the fact that the ordinance says that you have to repair your steps and not replace them with new ones. So looking here at the front, this is the front of the house, 308 North Newstead. Bob, could you please forward it to the next slide? So here is an overview. On the right is an aerial view. 308 is actually attached to 310 North Newstead. It's a really beautiful composition of these 2 houses that look like they're one bigger house. And then there's one house to the south. And then across Newstead is a large Catholic institution. So that kind of gives you an idea of the setting. And then next, please, Bob. And here is 308-310. 308 is there over there on the right. On the left is 310. And that gives you sort of an idea of the context there of that combined, not really a duplex, but 2 houses, sort of attached house right there. Next, please. Here is a picture of the front steps, the stoop, as we refer to it as. Next, please. Here is the stoop of 310. As we'll learn in a little bit, the applicants are looking to redesign their stoop when they replace the old one, which they argue has some serious structural problems. They would like to have it look something along with the lines of 310 that would match then the 2 sides of the house. Next slide, please. And here are some renderings. The applicants are here and they will have their own presentation, so I don't want to step on their toes too much, but here's just sort of a little bit of an idea of what they're looking to replace their current stoop with. Next slide, please. Here is the context on North Newstead Avenue looking to the east. You can see, of course, there's the house to the south, 302, 310, 308 dead center, and then another house to the north. Next, please. And then looking across the street, there's that large Catholic institution across the street. Next, please. This is looking north, the context, looking up North Newstead. Again, some series of apartment buildings on the east side and then a large apartment building up to the north. Next, please. Okay, so just kind of looking at the standards, the ordinance, again, that's 69423. So first, definitions. The first one is visible. Obviously, the proposed structure is obviously very visible from the street and sidewalk. A very important definition is stoop. It's a small porch, platform, or staircase leading to the entrance of a house. Obviously, the proposed new stoop is defined as a small porch according to the Central West End. Another important definition is a retaining wall, a wall that holds back the earth behind it and used to make changes in grade. So the proposed cheek walls, and the cheek walls are those small walls. Yeah, thank you very much, Bob. Bob is showing on with his cursor. They would be holding back a little bit of earth, so we're defining them as retaining walls here. So looking at Roman numeral number 3 of the ordinance, residential and institutional design standards, so architectural elements. So I highlighted in bold, original or historic porches, verandas, and balconies, including their component elements such as columns, pilasters, handrails, balusters, pediments, cornices, steps, etc., shall be preserved through in-kind repair and maintenance when visible. So it does not comply. The standards require that existing historic porches, if visible, must be maintained and repaired. No evidence has been submitted that the original stoop cannot be repaired. Site work. In particular, original or historic earth terraces shall be preserved and shall not be altered or interrupted by the introduction of retaining walls. Does not comply. The new cheek walls of the terrace steps would modify the original earth terrace. So preliminary findings and conclusion. 308 North Newstead is located in the Central West End neighborhood certified local historic district. The new construction would remove the original architectural elements from the building. The new stoop would be visible from North Newstead, and the Central West End standards require that the new visible stoops be retained, the visible historic retained and repaired rather than replaced. The Central West End Association has decided not to submit any comments regarding the project. The alderman, however, has submitted a letter of support for the project. So based on the preliminary findings, Central West, the Cultural Resources Office recommends the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial, as it does not comply with the standards.
Questions for staff, commissioners?
Chris, did you get anything besides these, artistic renderings? Do we have any details of what they want to put in?
So this is what they provided, and there's a few more diagrams that you'll see in the applicant's presentation, which you'll see in just a second. So they are pretty basic. They said they were choosing just to kind of, they didn't want to go any greater detail at this point, but you can see some additional renderings in their presentation.
Thank you.
Further questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Russ Agard, and I appreciate all that you guys do on the preservation board, and all the time that you put in to make uphold the historic standards of St. Louis. I am an appreciation of it, and fully intend to try to comply. If you bear with me a little bit,
I probably should have sworn you in before you complimented us.
Oh yeah, I affirm to tell the truth.
Okay, and remember to introduce for the record anything that you want to be considered.
Chris's presentation is fine. I mean, it's pretty much the diagram that he has is the same as that I have. So I could have gone into.
Do you want to introduce your own presentation?
Yeah, I mean, basically the agenda is I just want to talk about how I got here, that we explored lots of different ideas, and just explain where we're at and take any questions.
Okay, proceed.
I just wanted to talk about the beginning, just because this all really started when we were getting letters from the water division saying that our water box was collapsing, and I didn't understand that. And after, going back and forth, finally, I had to ascertain on my own what actually was going on. And I guess they thought that this was a tripping hazard. I didn't even know I was responsible for a city street, city sidewalk, I should say. But was told that I could engage the streets division for a 50-50 sidewalk repair, which I did right away, and just tried to be compliant. Had received other, and I thought that at that point, we were on a waiting list. We wouldn't get any more complaints, but these complaints threatened to turn off our water from the get-go in 2 weeks. I know you guys don't have anything to do with this, but it's just very frustrating working with two divisions that don't collaborate, and was being threatened with our water being turned off when we were trying to be compliant. So finally, I also got the alderman going. He tried to intervene for us and get the water division to stop threatening us, basically because we were on the streets repair waiting list. And the next slide, please. After finally talking to the water division yet again, this is about a year later, they suggested that we put in a temporary patch. Not very pretty, but they said it would just be temporary for a little while until the streets division could get around to doing it. In doing so, I was like, well, what caused this to fail? Next slide, please. What really caused this to fail is that the, you can see the curb is only like an inch or two high, and that the sidewalk is a lot higher than that. So it won't even hold any backfill or anything like that to prevent the sidewalk from deteriorating. Michael Browning came by. He also agreed with this assessment. So next slide. The streets division, I told the streets division this as well. Again, they failed to follow up. This is 2 years later, we get yet another threatening letter from the water division. Talking to the streets division, finally get them to agree to come out. But they said, as far as the curb, we don't think there's any adjustments that need to be made there. But we can offer, the 50-50 program. And next slide, please. We finally get an inspector to come out, and the inspector tells us to replace the whole sidewalk in front of our property. As you can see in these two slides, there's nothing wrong with our sidewalk. So I didn't understand about that. Next slide, please. I'm trying to go through this quickly. What I really did notice, though, was that our walk-up needed, repair and maintenance. There's a lot of cracks. There's chips in the sidewalk, and I didn't take pictures of the stone behind it, but there's also fissures in the stone as well. Can you go 2 slides, actually? We also had, at the time, we identified just that. I think Chris said, that it's a duplex, but it's not a duplex. So the 2 entryways that are right next to each other just don't look like that they don't complement each other. They're not symmetrical or anything. And my neighbors, the duplex neighbors, has those cement planter boxes. So what we were thinking was, it'd be nice if, our entryway looked on the same aesthetics as theirs did, had the same feel, was more symmetrical and stuff like that. So we had the idea of planning or putting in planter boxes like our neighbors. Now you can go back to that one slide. They're kind of out of order. We spoke to the CRO. The CRO told us to talk to the Central West End Association, which we did. I read the standards and whatnot. was told, that we could put in some planter boxes. Well, not told that we could, but just that they would have no objection to it. So that I thought was a green light. So that's how I started down this path. I thought that in replacing the walk-up, that and then beautifying, the porch to sort of match the duplex neighbors, that we could fix the water meter box and everything and just have a lot more curb appeal. But you can see here, we have other structural issues going on with the stone caps, so that this is the stone caps that goes around the porch. You can see that there's holes from an old railing that has been removed. We have, cracks and chips. I didn't take a picture of the front of the stairs, but there are fissures in the stairs that if we didn't replace them, that those could expand and pocket, deteriorate and crack and chip and whatever you call it from the weather at any time. There was no guarantee. If you go 2 slides down, this is the concept that we came up with originally, with the bluestone was also mentioned by the CWEA as a historical material to be used. And so we thought we could, beautify the top, which is currently just cement, and the landing between the stairs. And then you see the planter boxes, which would, match our neighbor. None of this is out of the ordinary for the Central West End. And then, we had, Mason come out, we went back and forth. You can go down 1 slide. You can see we looked at a lot of different concepts here. We really liked, if you go to the next one, we really like the idea of the having the porch walls match the brick work on the house. So we're using existing materials. The risers of the stairs would also be brick. We also found out, the planters would be problematic because they crack under freezing and also don't look good for 4 seasons, whereas the stone tops, you can put nice pots on them, or you can decorate them for the holidays. And then the stone caps on the steps and around the porch could all match. It isn't bigger. We're planning on using the existing railing. So we did great care. And like I said, that having porches made out of brick that fit, that's all around here. Some are made out of the foundation material, some are made out of brick. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary here. We're using existing materials. I don't really see that that's that dramatic of a change. It will definitely fit in. It will have the same look as our neighbor. We went to great care to try to not have anything different, like the dimensions and everything, as I said, are all the same. We're just trying to add a little bit more appeal and fix the structural issues with the house. We already spent, $500 on design work. We've covered all our bases in terms of trying to get approval everywhere we go, but have still been denied because basically you're not allowed to change anything. So I don't see this as really out of context, for the Central West End, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. I don't know if you have any questions. My wife is also, she is on here as well, listening to this presentation.
Hey, if she wishes to speak, we'll swear her in too. Otherwise, I'll ask commissioners if they have questions for you.
I have a couple
Eva,
questions.
do you have anything you want to say?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think you did a great job explaining the story.
I have a couple questions for you. Obviously, I think, sir, you're in a tough spot here. Your story is really good, and thanks for coming to us first for everything and trying to go the right way about this. Have you, this might seem a little weird, have you had your sewer lateral looked at or repaired in like the last 10 years or so? Is that coming out of the front of your house? Do you know by chance?
I don't
You have no
know
clue.
now.
Okay, I'm
We
just wondering.
haven't had any work done to the sewer lateral other than the inspection we had when we bought the house over 8 years ago.
Okay, cool. I think you're in a tough spot here, and I just wanted to ask you that. I mean, you have some settlement problem here. I'm just wondering why the meter's falling into the ground, and maybe that would have helped me answer the question. I see some pavement that got removed in front of your house, and I'm
It's just
just
a really
wondering.
small, I call it an apron, but it's like the frame around the water meter. Can you go back to it?
Oh, no, no, no. I'm good. I'm good on that. I was looking in the street. There's going to the sewers.
Oh,
There's a piece of
why the curb sinking? Is
no,
that
no. Yeah,
okay?
well, kind of all that, but I think you kind of answered my question. Uh I think I know everything I need to know. I'll save the rest of everything else for discussion. You're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So does this design, does it resolve that manhole cover issue, or is it just kind of, you noticed it while you had to look at your sidewalk?
It's only one extra portion of concrete, so we would plan on fixing that when we do the rest of the walk up. Also, the alderman has said that he is going to try to get it repaired on his own by working through the streets division. So I don't have a lot of confidence in that since it's been 2 years.
Okay, and then can you go back to the picture that shows your current stairs? So your current steps are solid stone. It looks like you in your design, a brick riser and then some kind of a thin stone step. Am I getting that right?
It will still be limestone tops, but the risers will be brick to match the house.
Okay.
And we actually had two different designs. One was a partial renovation and one was a full renovation. So the one I guess would be the second from the left was more of a existing with just adding what did you guys call it? The cheek walls. So basically everything kind of matches the same other than you can even see the first set of stairs is concrete. So that would be replacing existing materials. The second set of steps would be the existing stone steps. So the only thing we would be doing then, and we might still need to replace those stone caps around the porch where the railing sinks into, but we wouldn't. We would just we would want to put some blue stone top on which you actually wouldn't see from the street. So we had a partial reno and a full reno. We just really preferred, obviously, the look of the full reno. And if you're going to go, and also just because of what bad shape the rest of the stairs and everything are in, you can kind of see in this picture here that 125-year-old stone steps are, they have fissures and things in them that could crack at any time as they get water in them and freeze and stuff.
Quick question about your neighbor. You approached the neighbors, and what we heard from Chris was that they decided not to provide a letter. Is that
we
right?
have letters.
Could you not reach them, or?
We have letters of support from our duplex neighbor, and so I went to both neighbors. And
no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm at the neighborhood association, Central West End.
So the neighborhood association basically said that they couldn't go on record as advocating for this because it doesn't meet current standards. And so they felt like that they couldn't, in good faith, do that. But they also said that they don't object to this project.
Okay,
I think that's very important because that was the same message I've been getting all along, is that they do not object to this project.
Thank you.
Okay, further questions, commissioners? Bob, anybody in the waiting room?
Nope.
Anything you want to add?
I just want to just verify that we did verify with Dwyer that that is accurate. We had the issue with the fence before there was a non-committal response. Previous meetings, this is verified that there is no official comment from Dwyer's group.
Okay,
Wait,
good enough.
sorry, no official comment, but unofficially they don't object, or just
They
That's
will be,
correct.
they said they will not be providing any comment in writing regarding the project.
But
Very
they also
helpful.
don't object unofficially, if you
Yeah,
want.
so I take that for what you will, Mr. Richardson, but yes, he said that they will not be, he is aware of the project and they will not be giving a formal comment on the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commissioner Fowler.
That's,
Yes.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
would you
Yes.
like to make your customary motion?
I don't know about this one. I move that the Preservation Board overturn the director's denial. As I was thinking about this before. I'm sorry. I move that the Preservation Board overturn the director's denial. Trying to add the piece that I forget what Catherine says. Sorry, that I want them to work with CRO to come up with plans that will be approved or something like that. I'm gonna butcher this.
Well,
I'll let
let's,
somebody else make the motion.
okay,
Maybe,
good enough.
maybe Mike can
Commissioner,
take it.
Commissioner Richardson,
I make a motion that we overturn the director's denial and approve the general concept presented by the applicant, but that the applicant work with the CRO staff on final plans, colors, and materials to be approved by CRO.
Second.
motion made and seconded, discussion. David, like which pieces? Cheek
I think
walls?
Cheek walls,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely the cheek walls, definitely the color of the brick, definitely the
I would say
railings.
the stone also that they're using for the sidewalk or the landing.
And I again, I don't, and I think working with them on the is it the riser part as brick. I don't know if staff really likes that or if that's appropriate.
On the record, there's really, I know that those regs say like they should maintain these. I mean, like they're limestone, like it's concrete. I mean, you keep it clean and you tuck point the sides maybe, but it's kind of a hard rule. And the best way, I mean, engineering sit here like you take it out and remove it, or you try to rehab it as best you can, but it's tough. Also that sidewalk, that's gonna be a doozy. I think you're gonna have to take out a couple stones left and right of that. So to be a big project, I think they're trying to make it better. They're doing it the right way. That's all I'm gonna say.
My thought would be that we pretty much agree that they're going to need to replace that stoop and steps. But many of the pieces that they want to add to it are not in compliance with historic district code. So we want in a motion to send them to work with the staff with the knowledge that we're fine with them replacing this stuff, but the bricks, the tops, the walls are things that we probably would not approve. Is that right?
I think we're on the same page as far as sending them to CRO. Yes, and staff.
Well said.
Yes.
Again,
Commissioner
it will all
Killeen.
be the same materials. It'll be all limestone, as you see in the picture here. So, and the brick will
Russ,
match the
if
property.
Russ, if this passes, this will be a discussion with the CRO staff.
I hear you. I hear you.
Commissioner
Okay.
Killeen?
I just wanted to clarify that I'm not using any different materials that
Commissioner
Um,
Colleen?
Yeah, I was just going to caution that that thin material that you're showing for the right or for the treads and that option there, yeah, that's going to be, it could be problematic in a freeze thaw. It'd be nice to have maybe just that, put limestone steps in, by how many are you going to need there? 7 of those things, and have them installed in this design. As far as like the sidewall materials, Richard, are you saying that to completely follow the code to the letter, that they've got to come back with a stone wall there, not brick?
That
Richard?
would be, yes. Whoops. Yes, that would be what I would like. But I mean, this is going to be a negotiation with the CRO staff.
Okay, well, I mean, putting the rules aside, which I know we're not supposed to, I think that they're heading in the right direction design-wise to have a matching brick wall like the one of their neighbors there. But yeah, I agree. It's a negotiation with the Central West End and CRO staff.
Let's bring Bob up. Bob, what are we saying that you hear?
That I think the general concept is okay, but let CRO work out the details. I think that the stairs, we can work out a design change on the stairs, but the overall concept is okay as long as we get these finer points worked out, and we will.
Yeah.
That's what you give you latitude wise. If you're gonna just say it's fine to mix this stuff up, I mean, either it stays the same appearance wise or it's something different. So if we're gonna work within the confines of some negotiations here, we will work it out.
Okay, I mean, they clearly need something. It is probably not completely this.
Right, I agree, and I think that we're gonna focus on the steps primarily for sure, because that is gonna be problematic, even for a trip hazard, having a lip on that and stuff. So we'll talk with the applicant about that.
Cool.
I just want to throw in, I applaud them for trying to get this right and for investing in this really beautiful old home. So,
Thank you.
Also, who doesn't hate the water division?
God, on the record even.
There goes my water. I know it.
it's going to be on the cover of the poster.
Okay. Okay, commissioners, let's call a roll.
Okay, David Richardson,
Yes.
Stan Fowler,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Mike Colleen,
Yes.
and Richard Callow.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay, most of an appeal approved. Agenda item E.
Yeah.
I affirm I will tell the truth. All right, agenda item E. This might seem a little familiar. So this is 5118 Waterman Boulevard. Staff recommendation, the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial. Proposed fence does not comply with the Central West End Neighborhood Certified Local Historic District standards. So this is applicant came to me at Hotspot about basically piggybacking on his neighbors at 5122 Waterman and 5126 Waterman. You might remember back in October, you approved a vinyl fence first at 5122 and then at 5126 in December. So he learned about that and he decided that he would like to add on a 5-foot section of fence to connect on to 5122's fence. So here is a diagram showing where it's at. And here, the next slide is an aerial view. You can see that little yellow line right there is showing just what he is planning on building. They're basically planning on having the fence people want to have all these permits done so they can come out and do just one fell swoop. That fence, from what we understand, is about 100 feet back from the street. All right, next slide, please. Here's a view, and then that's basically kind of a rough understanding of where it would be. It's probably be kind of a little more difficult to see than that. Next slide that's showing as well. Next slide, please. That's the same colored fence. I describe it as mocha. That's maybe some call it a different color than that. Anyway, brown, basically. Next slide, please. Here's context. You can see over there on the right, 51, 22, and 26 are that close. That's looking south. Next slide, please. That's looking across the street, going north. And this is looking west down Waterman. And next slide, please. This is looking east down Waterman. Lots of damage from the tornado in the street. Basically, all three addresses, the fence was blown down by the tornado, and they're wanting to replace it with what they feel to be as a more durable material than the former wood fence, which was blown down. So anyway, so definition's visible. Yeah, it's technically visible, even though it's 100 feet back. So site work, basically. New walls, fences, and other enclosures shall be brick, stone, stucco, wood, wrought iron, or evergreen or deciduous hedge when visible from the sidewalk or street, as is consistent with the existing dominant materials within the historic district. Does not comply. The fence visible from the street and sidewalk would be constructed of vinyl, which is not an approved material under the historic district standards. Preliminary findings and conclusion. The 5118 Waterman Boulevard is located in the Central West End neighborhood certified local historic district. The proposed vinyl fence material is not an approved material. The fence would be visible from Waterman Boulevard. Central West End has chosen not to take a position on the matter. So I reached out to Jim Dwyer, and he said that they were not going to take a position. So they're not opposing it, and they're not, they're not supporting it. And just a reminder, of course, like I said, at the October meeting, you approved the same material, and then in December approved a similar material as well. Based on these preliminary findings, we are recommending that Preservation Board uphold the denial of the permits, as it does not comply. Any questions? And
Questions for Chris?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
So the picture you're showing me right now,
yes.
so did we approve the guy to the right on our right? We approved that last month or 2 months ago, I guess.
That was in October for 1522. And
Okay.
then December was 5126. Yeah, so those two houses. And now the owner of that apartment building or condo, maybe, that he's wanting to join in.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, do we need to hear the appellant? Commissioner Richardson, have you got a motion?
I move that the Preservation Board overturn the director's denial and allow the fence since it is 100 feet back and is consistent with the neighboring fence that has been approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Ruth
Is there
Keno
discuss-
gets a second.
Sorry.
Kenoy second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Bob, call a roll, please.
David Richardson,
Yes.
Stan Fowler,
Yes.
Anthony Robinson,
Yes.
Mike Clean,
Yes.
Ruth Kenoy,
Yes.
Richard Calla.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay. The appeal is granted. Thank you very much. Director's report.
Guys, I don't have anything this time. I apologize. It's been kind of a chaotic week with stuff, so I apologize. Nothing really to report. I do want to note, though, in this meeting, you'll see the title of Stuart Keating. Stuart is the new director of Landmarks Association, who has been watching with just, I'm sure, just
Welcome.
intent and joy this entire time. So he's going to be coming in very often.
It's
so.
been great. Thanks for having me.
Great.
Any comments for the good of the order? Commissioners?
When are we having the potluck?
Stuart,
Oh,
thanks
Stan.
for taking on
Oh.
that job.
Oh, Stan. Oh, Stan. Oh, Stan. Oh, I will note that the Planning Commission did approve our policies procedures document last week.
You're
Stan
welcome.
tried to fight it, actually, but we still did agree to it. They agreed to approve it. So,
Thank you, Stan.
so, yeah.
Ruth, I hope this is not your last meeting.
Thank you. I hope so too.
For those who don't know, Ruth is going back to work for the city, and so we're trying to figure out if she's allowed to stay. So
What position is it?
Grants manager at CDA.
So we're working on that. So that's all I
Yep.
got, guys.
I like to
Okay.
keep her if I get a voice. So,
We all want to.
all right, guys, take it easy.
You
Have
know,
a good.
Thank
We
you.
could
Good
either
night.
we could keep Ruth and abolish the civil service.
Also fine.
Okay, commissioners, thank you very much. We stand adjourned.
Stay
Thank you.
warm.
You.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you next
Thank you,
month.
bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.